always believed trust wasn't something you rebuilt once it was gone. It either lived or it didn't. My wife, Amanda, had been chipping away at mine for months before I even realized it. The late-night work meetings, the sudden obsession with privacy, the way her phone never left her hand, it was all there in plain sight. I just didn't want to see it. We'd been married for 7 years, together for 10. I thought that meant something. Apparently, Amanda thought it meant I'd stopped paying attention. The first time I noticed something was off, it wasn't the missed calls or the vague explanations. It was the way she laughed at her phone. Soft, breathy, like she used to laugh at me when we first met. That small sound was enough to hollow out something inside me. Still, I tried to hold things together. I cooked dinner, planned a weekend trip, even bought her favorite bottle of wine. But every gesture I made felt like a one-way conversation. Her eyes were always elsewhere, her smile mechanical. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was a placeholder. Then one night I saw it. Her phone lit up while she was in the shower. The name said Daniel, HR. I'd never heard of him before. Curiosity got the better of me and I opened the message. It wasn't work-related. Last night was worth every risk. Can't stop thinking about you. I stared at that text for a long time. My chest went cold. The phone almost slipped from my hand. I put it back exactly how I found it, and when she came out of the shower wrapped in her towel, smiling faintly, I pretended nothing happened. That night, while she slept, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. I wasn't angry yet, just hollow. I needed to understand how far she was willing to go. Over the next week I watched her. Every move, every glance, every lie disguised as casual conversation. She thought she was clever. She'd whisper into her phone in the laundry room, erase messages, take solo drives to clear her head. Then last Friday, I caught the smell of his cologne on her clothes. That same cheap, synthetic scent she claimed to hate. My stomach twisted. The pieces were all there now. That's when the plan started forming. We had dinner plans that Saturday night. A makeup dinner she'd insisted on, claiming she wanted to reconnect. I agreed, playing along. She seemed strangely nervous all day, double-checking her phone, watching me like she was waiting for something. By the time we sat down at the restaurant, her smile was brittle. She laughed too much, avoided my eyes too often. And when the waiter brought our drinks, I noticed her hand tremble just slightly as she reached for mine. We toasted. She smiled. And just before the glass touched my lips, I saw her expression flicker. Something tight, almost anticipatory. I set my drink down. Slowly. She looked confused for a second, but then forced another smile. Aren't you going to try it? Smiled back. Ladies first. Her eyes darted, only for a moment, but that was all it took. I swapped our glasses casually while pretending to adjust my napkin. She didn't notice. She took a sip. The change in her expression was almost imperceptible at first. Her throat tensed, her eyes widened just a little, and then she froze. What did you? I leaned forward, my voice low, steady. I think the question is what you did, Amanda. Her face drained of color. She stammered something, reaching for her bag, but I stopped her with a look. The truth was, I'd been one step ahead of her for days. I'd seen the messages. I'd seen the delivery from the online store she thought I wouldn't recognize. A small brown box with no return label, except I'd looked it up. Tranquilizers. And suddenly everything made sense. The reconnect dinner. The nervous laughter. The way she insisted on ordering drinks instead of wine. I didn't know exactly what she planned to do after, but I knew enough. I sat back, calm, while she fumbled for words that wouldn't come. You really thought I wouldn't notice? I said quietly. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. Her eyes glistened, and for the first time in months, she was completely still. Amanda's fingers trembled as she set the glass down. The color had drained from her face, leaving her looking almost translucent under the soft restaurant lights. James, she whispered, you don't understand. I tilted my head. Then help me. For a long moment she said nothing. The silence between us grew heavy enough to bend. The clink of silverware and faint jazz from the bar felt like they belonged to another world, one where we were still normal. Finally she spoke. It wasn't supposed to go this far. He said a few drops would only make you dizzy, long enough for us to talk without you storming off. Her voice cracked at the edges, thin, desperate. She swallowed. Daniel. Hearing the name out loud did something to me. A week ago it would have made me furious. Now it just felt small, pathetic. I leaned back in my chair, watching her. So he gives you something from the internet, you put it in my drink, and that's your version of talking? Tears filled her eyes, spilling over as she shook her head. I didn't think, he said it was harmless. I almost laughed. You never do. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. That small recoil broke her completely. She looked down at her lap, shoulders shaking, whispering words I couldn't quite make out. I let her sit there in the weight of her choices. When the waiter came by, I handed him my card and asked for the check. Amanda didn't even look up. Outside, the night air was cold enough to bite. She followed me to the parking lot, voice trembling. James, please, can we just go home and talk? I turned to her slowly. Home? You mean the place where you text another man in my bed? Her mouth opened but no sound came out. I unlocked the car, got in and started the engine. She hesitated, then climbed in beside me, silent. The drive home was nothing but the hum of tires on asphalt. No words. No excuses left. When we pulled into the driveway, I didn't get out immediately. I just stared at the porch light flickering against the siding. That house had once been our dream. Now it looked like a crime scene without the tape. Inside, she sat on the edge of the couch, still shaking. I messed up, she said quietly. I know. But I didn't want to lose you. I stood across from her. You already did. Her sob caught in her throat. Please, James, I can fix this. I'll end it. I'll delete everything. Cut her off. You think this is about deleting messages? You tried to drug me, Amanda. That word hung in the air like smoke. Drug. She pressed her hands to her face and sobbed harder. For the first time I felt nothing. No rage, no heartbreak, just finality. I talked to my lawyer yesterday, I said. About the house, the accounts, everything. You'll get the papers next week. She froze. Her hands dropped slowly. You planned this. I planned to protect myself, I said. Something you should have done too. For a second, the only sound was the ticking of the wall clock. Then she whispered, You swapped the drinks on purpose, didn't you? He nodded. Her voice cracked. So, what did I drink? I met her eyes. Water. From your glass. I poured the real one down the sink before we left. Relief flickered across her face, followed by shame so deep it almost looked physical. She buried her face in her hands again, mumbling something about forgiveness, about wanting a chance to explain. But explanations couldn't change the fact that she'd crossed a line most people never even approach. I grabbed my coat from the hook. You'll have time to think, I said quietly. The lawyer will call you tomorrow. As I walked out the door, she called after me. Her voice cracked halfway through my name. I didn't look back. The cold air hit me like clarity. I stood in the driveway, breathing it in, staring up at the quiet sky. For the first time in months, maybe years, my hands didn't shake. I knew people would tell me later that I should have stayed, heard her out, tried therapy or forgiveness. But those people hadn't watched someone they loved pour powder into their glass and smile while doing it. Trust doesn't recover from that. Just dies quietly, completely. I drove to a motel on the edge of town and checked in. The clerk didn't ask questions. I lay on the stiff mattress staring at the ceiling, waiting for sleep that wouldn't come. Sometime after midnight my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. She told me you'd never find out. No name, no context, but I didn't need one. I deleted it, turned off the phone, and stared into the dark. For the first time, I wasn't haunted by what I'd lost. I was relieved by what I'd escaped. Because sometimes survival doesn't look heroic. It just looks like walking away before someone poisons you with a smile.